My wife was in a car accident. Her memory is stuck 10 years in the past. That was the year she loved me more than anything. The year she confessed her feelings to me under the Ferris wheel. Chris, are you telling me we've been married for 10 years? Are we happy? Her face was a perfect picture of a young woman's surprise and shy joy as she threw her arms around me. I pushed her away, my voice flat. Happy. Ecstatic. I leaned in closer. You treated me like dirt, and I caught you cheating on me. I'm sorry. The number you have dialed is not available. I stood outside the county courthouse, staring at my phone screen. Just yesterday, my wife, Sophia Hayes, the CEO of Denver's Apex Industries, was in bed with her subordinate, Leo Carter, engaged in a rather intense game of Twister. When I burst into the hotel room, they didn't even stop. If anything, they picked up the pace. Sophia shot me a look of pure indifference, as if speaking to me was a waste of her valuable time. Sophia, do you have any shame at all? You owe me an explanation. I demanded, my voice shaking with rage. She shoved me impatiently. Who do you think you are? Get out. Who am I? I'm your damn husband. Let's get a divorce. Courthouse, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. Sophia dropped the line and walked out, like it was nothing more than a canceled meeting. Thinking about it now, I took a hard drag from my cigarette, a strange sense of relief washing over me. Sophia and I were high school sweethearts, practically inseparable. 10 years ago, right after graduation, she'd confessed her love for me under the giant Ferris wheel at the state fair, swearing she'd be with me for the rest of our lives, for richer or for poorer. Because of that promise, I gave up my dream of being an architect and poured everything I had into helping her build her company from the ground up. We both came from nothing, working harder than anyone could imagine. But once she made it, once she tasted success, she became arrogant, insatiable. Power, money, lust. Sophia and I were on different planets. First came the endless arguments, then the nights she wouldn't come home at all. To punish me for being too controlling, she not only kicked me out of the company, but also transferred all the assets that should have been mine into her name. Chris Miller, she'd sneered. You and I are not in the same league anymore. Stay away from me. You're disgusting. But Sophia seemed to forget that I was responsible for at least half of everything she had. All those years I'd been dedicated, worked myself to the bone, and stayed completely faithful. I gave her my entire world. And the moment she got a taste of real power, she threw me away like a dog. People change. She didn't love me anymore. To her, I was just dead weight. But it was fine. All the humiliation I'd endured finally found its release the moment I caught them. Because now, I had a bona fide reason to be free of her. After 9 o'clock today, we would be nothing to each other. All our vows would be smoke. A light drizzle started to fall over Denver, the couples coming and going from the courthouse looking as miserable as I felt. I waited for half an hour before my phone finally rang. It was her. What's taking you so long? You don't even have time for a divorce. I snapped. Excuse me, is this Mr. Miller? A woman's unfamiliar voice came through the line. This is Denver General Hospital. Your wife has just been in a car accident. I felt the tension in my shoulders release. What did you say? Sophia was in an accident. I couldn't suppress a laugh. Talk about karma. Is it bad? Is she hurt badly? Sir, you sound happy, the nurse said, hesitating. Ms. Hayes suffered a serious head injury, along with multiple lacerations. That's fantastic. I'll be right there, I said, a grin spreading across my face. Use every drug you have. If you manage to kill her, I promise I won't sue. I hung up and sped toward the hospital, the air on the way feeling sweeter than it had in years. The thought of seeing Sophia broken and miserable made the corners of my mouth twitch upwards. That woman was ruthless. She'd done so many terrible things. A car wreck was just what she deserved. My only regret was that it probably wasn't fatal. 30 minutes later, I walked into her hospital room, only to be blocked by a furious woman. Chris Miller, you have a nerve to show your face? Do you have any idea what happened to Sophia? Her brain is practically scrambled. The woman was Ashley Vance, Sophia's so-called best friend, who spent most of her time acting as Sophia's loyal lapdog. What's that got to do with me? I asked. What's it got to do with you? If she wasn't rushing to the courthouse to divorce your pathetic ass, she wouldn't have been driving herself in the first place. She was driving herself? Great. As long as the other driver is okay. I peered around her. Where is she? You heartless bastard. How dare you say that? Sophia will make you pay for this. Tired of her yapping, I pushed past her and walked over to the VIP bed. My eyes fell on Sophia. Her arms and legs were wrapped in gauze, and she was looking at me with a pair of startlingly clear eyes. Her voice was different, softer. Chris, what happened to you? What happened to me is your fault, I sneered. Looks like you really did fry your brain. You don't remember anything, do you? No. I remember you, Sophia said, suddenly grabbing my hand, her voice urgent. Chris, my mind is fine. I'll always remember how good you were to me. You worked 3 jobs all summer just to pay for my senior year tuition, living off instant ramen and cheap bread. I remember all of it. Thank you. Hearing those words come from her mouth, I froze. I couldn't remember the last time Sophia had said, thank you to me. Just then, 2 doctors walked in. Mr. Miller, thank you for coming. After a preliminary examination, we've determined that your wife's brain tissue has been damaged, causing partial amnesia. Her memory has reverted to where it was 10 years ago. There's no way to restore it at the moment, but we can try some cognitive therapy. I held up a hand to stop him, looking suspiciously at Sophia. How old are you? 20, she said, her face a mask of innocence. I was stunned. An image of the pure, sweet Sophia from our college days flickered in my mind, a stark contrast to the polished, formidable CEO she had become. Back then, she was so gentle, so dependent on me, the love in her eyes practically overflowing. The more beautiful she was in the past, the more disgusting she seemed to me now. Ha. I forced a smile and clapped my hands together. Great. As long as it's not total amnesia, that's fine. It won't delay the paperwork. I turned to her friend. Ashley, you can finally be useful. Bring her to the courthouse tomorrow. 9 a.m. Don't be late. Just then, Sophia frantically leaped out of bed and rushed over, throwing her arms around me. Chris, where are you going? Don't leave me. Her eyes were shining with hope. What kind of paperwork are we filing? Are we getting married? Looking at her expectant gaze, my heart felt like a wasteland of cold ash. Not marriage papers, divorce papers. At my words, Sophia's whole body trembled, and she clutched her head. Ugh. Her face went pale, as if she was trying to recall something painful. The doctors hurried over to support her. The patient has been agitated. She needs to rest now. Sophia, are you okay? Ashley helped her back to the bed, then turned to block my path, her voice thick with accusation. Chris Miller, are you even human? She's injured, and you're still trying to upset her. What did I do to upset her? Why don't you ask Sophia what she did? Was I the one who asked for a divorce? Ashley stood her ground. It doesn't matter who asked for it. Sophia is sick right now. Do you have to be in such a hurry? What if you trigger something worse? That's not my problem. All I want right now is to be done with her. I tried to leave, but Ashley wouldn't let me. Stop. You're still her husband. Are you just going to walk out irresponsibly like this? What? Am I supposed to stay here and take care of her? I shot back. Ask your precious best friend where she was when I was passed out with a 104-degree fever. I'll give you a hint. It was a nightclub with some male model. Okay, but setting that aside for a second, are you saying you're completely blameless in all this? Ashley grabbed at me, her hair a mess. You're not leaving today until you've paid for this. Suddenly, Sophia, who had regained some composure, spoke up. This doesn't concern you. Let Chris go. Ashley was stunned. Sophia, if Chris hates me this much, it must be because I did something wrong. Sophia looked at me, her eyes red. I think I get it now. It seems like Chris and I have been married for 10 years, and I've forgotten everything. We used to be so close. I must have done something awful to make you this angry. She looked at me earnestly. Chris, you're just saying you want a divorce to scare me, right? To make me behave and fix my mistakes. Seeing her sincere attitude made sense. After all, with the memories of a 20-year-old, she had no recollection of anyone else from her future. In her world, there was only me. So, naturally, she assumed she was the one at fault. But if she had been like this all along, would we have ended up here? The thought of everything she'd done filled me with disgust. I ignored her, and while everyone was distracted, I quickly walked out of the room. The light rain was still falling over Denver, casting a hazy, depressing pall over the city. I drove back to our 800-square-foot condo on the outer loop and started packing my things. We bought this place right after the company first turned a profit. Back then, Sophia and I were comrades in arms, partners in life and at work. Chris, remember how we always dreamed of buying a little house? We finally did it. Yes. Sophia was 24 then. Aside from the exhaustion etched on her face, she still had that spark of innocence. But just 6 years later, she'd grown tired of this small place. This condo is too small. I'm not coming back here anymore. A luxury car worth hundreds of thousands, an entire downtown office building, a sprawling mansion. Sophia had it all, and she started getting tired of all the old things, including me. The assistants and subordinates around her changed constantly. A rotating cast of characters from clean-cut young professionals to guys with six-pack abs, from older men to college kids. I used to get jealous, used to secretly check her phone, which only made her resent me more. Lost in memories of the past few turbulent years, I stared at the empty condo. There was very little of Sophia left here. Most of the stuff was mine. The stuffed animal by the door was from a claw machine at the mall. The succulents on the balcony were from a flea market we'd browsed. All these things I once treasured were just junk to her now. This cozy home had become desolate and cold. I pushed aside the sentimental items and began packing my personal belongings. 2 years ago, after a leak of confidential information at Apex, Sophia became increasingly paranoid. Compounded by her growing indifference toward me, she transferred all our assets and even took legal ownership of this condo. As she put it, she could give me money, but she needed to have control over everything to feel secure. The next day, I found out she'd bought her new boy toy a villa in the suburbs. Back then, I was naive enough to hope that her desire for control was a twisted form of love for me, that the others were just flings. But one of those flings ended with me catching her in the act. Click! Just as I was lost in thought, the front door opened. A handsome young man holding a bouquet of roses walked in, using a key. He froze when he saw me, his eyes wide with surprise. I recognized him immediately. It was Leo Carter, the subordinate she was with yesterday. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his shock quickly turning to a smug confidence. He had the gall to ask me that. "Are you even supposed to be here?" I slowly polished a glass. "I should be asking you that, boy toy. How many times did you have to sleep with Sophia to get a key to this place?" "Watch your mouth," Leo sneered. "Sophia and I are in love. She's over you, and she's already divorced you." He puffed out his chest. "Don't think you're still the VP. Without her, you're nothing." I had a laugh. "When Sophia and I bought this place, you were probably still playing in a sandbox somewhere. And you got one thing wrong. Everything Sophia has, she has because of me. She's the one who can't live without me, understand? My 10 years of sacrifice meant nothing in anyone's eyes. Because Sophia was successful, I was just the guy living off her. Because I didn't fight or claw for credit, I was a powerless coward. Because I loved and trusted Sophia, I ended up with nothing. If I had been more ambitious back then, more cautious, if I hadn't given in so many times, Sophia would never have gotten to where she is today. Her, unable to live without you? Are you dreaming?" Leo stared at me, his eyes filled with defiance. "Let me tell you something. Sophia gave me this key specifically so I could meet her for a date tonight. She divorces you in the morning and goes on a date with me in the afternoon. Are you still going to pretend you don't get it? If she had any feelings left for you, if you had any competence at all, do you think she'd choose to divorce you?" I shrugged, a cold smile on my face. "Think whatever you want. What you and Sophia do is none of my business. But I have a feeling your date is off tonight." "What did you say?" Before Leo could figure out, there was another jingle of keys. Sophia slowly pushed the door open, her clear eyes scanning the room. Is this my home now?" Seeing her, Leo immediately puffed up with pride. "Ms. Hayes, you're finally here. Your ex-husband was just bullying me. He called me a boy toy." But instead of the support he expected, Leo was met with Sophia's bewildered gaze. She clearly had no memory of the man she had been with just yesterday. Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" Leo froze. "Ms. Hayes, you're the one who asked me to come. When did I ever ask you to come here? Get out now." Sophia moved closer to me, wary and frightened, like a startled deer. "Ms. Hayes, aren't you with him?" Leo pointed at me. Sophia stepped in front of me protectively. "Didn't you hear me? Get out, or I'm calling the police." I could see the confusion and resentment in Leo's eyes, but he clearly didn't dare defy her orders. He slowly backed out the door. "Are you okay, Chris? Who was that guy?" Sophia touched my arm with her cool fingers, her eyes full of concern. "Even though I don't remember him, I could feel his hostility toward you. He can't be a good person." "Yeah, you're right about that," I thought with a cold, internal laugh. "The bad person you're so worried about was in your bed just yesterday." But I couldn't be bothered to explain. A 20-year-old Sophia, finding out she was keeping a boy toy, would probably pester me with questions for hours. Before I could speak, Sophia spoke first. "Chris, I'm so sorry for what happened before. I must have made you so angry." Her voice was soft. "Whenever I used to get sick, you'd always take care of me. You'd never leave my side. The fact that you weren't with me this time means I must have really hurt you. Can we make up, Chris?" Her pleading tone reminded me of the old days, when she would be the first to apologize after a fight. They say women are emotional creatures who need to be placated, but it's rare to find one who actively offers an olive branch. I was lucky enough to have had a girl like that. At 20, she was in her prime, smart, classy, and willing to put her pride aside for my sake. Those were the days. But that girl was long gone. Seeing her standing before me now, with those innocent, wide eyes and that coquettish plea, I was momentarily stunned. Any other man would have caved, but I'd been hurt too deeply by Sophia. I'd seen the disgust and contempt in her eyes too many times. She had systematically ground my love for her into dust. "We'll talk about it later," I said, looking at her limping gait. "You need to go back to the hospital and recover. We'll discuss what's next after that." It wasn't that I was worried about her. I was just afraid that if her injuries didn't heal, it would complicate the divorce and waste more of my time. Who knew? Her best friend might even try to sue me for damages. "Okay." Sophia's eyes lit up, as if she interpreted my command as a sign of affection. Even with my cold tone, she still found warmth in it. "Chris, isn't this our home? Why are you packing your things?" "Oh, I'm just going on a business trip," I said dismissively, continuing to pack. "You're taking our souvenirs with you on a business trip? See, you still care about me," she said with a giggle, a blush creeping up her cheeks. Then, as if she'd had a sudden idea, she scurried over to the refrigerator. "It's almost noon. You should eat before you go. I'll make your favorite, cacio e pepe." "Sure," I agreed without hesitation. My stomach was growling anyway. I could treat it as a final meal together. Sophia hadn't cooked in 2 or 3 years. Letting her serve me one last time felt like a fitting punishment. Soon, she was expertly tying an apron and chopping ingredients, her movements fluid and practiced. "Chris, when did we buy this place?" "I love it. About 7 years ago. We picked a layout you liked." "That's so wonderful. To think I've lived with you for so long. It makes me so happy just imagining it." Sophia's face glowed with anticipation. "Chris, after all these years of marriage, do we have any kids? Are they in school?" "We did," I said, my heart clenching. "But not anymore." "What? Why?" "Ask your best friend. I don't want to talk about it." I turned my head away. Sensing my displeasure, Sophia quickly changed the subject. "My best friend? You mean that woman? Ashley? So she's a good friend of mine." Even with a head full of questions, Sophia's hands never stopped moving. She would occasionally steal a glance at me to gauge my reaction. The aroma of garlic and pepper filled the air, seeping into every corner of the living room. That familiar scent instantly brought back a flood of memories. There was a time when Sophia and I agreed to take turns making dinner. But every day, after dragging our exhausted bodies home, we'd fight over who got to cook, each afraid of letting the other get too tired. One time, I complimented her cacio e pepe, and she made it every night for a week straight. "It's ready. Come and eat." Sophia brought the plates over, looking exactly like she did 10 years ago. If it weren't for the mature, sophisticated lines of her face, I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. Perfect timing. I had just finished packing. I sat down and took a few bites. It tasted just like it used to. Even after all these years, my taste buds hadn't forgotten. They say memory is a complex thing. Some of it is stored in the brain, some in the heart. Fragments of the past played out like a movie in my mind, and for a moment, I could almost hear our youthful laughter echoing around me. To be honest, Sophia's amnesia had completely thrown me for a loop. Last night, I tossed and turned, trying to figure out how to end our decade-long relationship with some semblance of dignity. I'm a rational person. I know how things work. I didn't want to drag this out into a messy, dramatic fight. When love is gone, it's gone. The best thing to do is let go gracefully, especially after all the terrible things Sophia had done to me. But fate had a twisted sense of humor. Sophia had inexplicably lost her memory, and it just had to reset to the year she loved me the most. I admit I love Sophia. I loved the 20-year-old version of her. But the woman in front of me now was a shattered mosaic. Even if you pieced her back together, the cracks would still be there, a constant reminder of the facade. It would never be real, and I wasn't pathetic enough to drown myself in a lie. "Chris, are you okay?" Sophia looked at me with concern. "Are you not feeling well? I can go get you some medicine." "No need." I quickly finished my last bite, grabbed my bag, and headed for the door. Just as I reached it, Sophia called out, "Chris, wait." She walked slowly toward me, and then, suddenly, threw her arms around me in a tight embrace. "I have to go," I said, my face a cold mask. "Chris, you look so exhausted. Is it because I've been so unreasonable all the time, making you tired?" Sophia's eyes suddenly turned red. "I must not have been understanding enough, making you worry for a whole decade. I feel so guilty." I didn't answer. I just pried her hands off me. "Chris, you're not really going on a business trip, are you?" Sophia stared at me, tears streaming down her face. "What'd I do wrong? Can you just tell me, please? Why won't anyone tell me what I did wrong? I can change, I swear. I'd do anything for you." "You can't change," I said, my voice so cold it scared even me. "Why?" "Because you cheated on me, and I was the one who caught you." "What?" Sophia's eyes widened as if she'd been struck by lightning. She staggered back a few steps, but just as quickly, she composed herself, forcing a confident laugh. "Ah, that's impossible. She walked back toward me. Chris, you're still mad at me, aren't you? That's why you're saying things like that to hurt me. But I know in my heart, how could I possibly cheat on you? It's impossible. Haha, there's no reason for it. Sophia wrapped her arms around my neck. Chris, do you have any idea how much I love you? Just being with you is a dream come true. Getting married, that's a luxury I could barely even imagine. I would never cheat on you. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I don't care about your personality. I only love you, Chris. I would never give myself to another man. Hearing her resolute tone, I asked with a self-deprecating smirk, Are you sure about that? I'm sure. As soon as she answered, she broke down into uncontrollable sobs, burying her face in my chest. That familiar warmth seeped into my heart again, and I instinctively wanted to stroke her hair, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. Because I knew that warmth was just a bubble. Sophia's love right now was like boiling water, intense but fleeting. I remember 10 years ago, she'd said the exact same thing to me. And what was the result? The deeper the promise, the harsher the betrayal. I would never forget the first time we fought about another man. The look of disgust and hatred on her face was seared into my memory. Chris Miller, have I been too good to you? Who the hell are you to tell me how I spend my money? There's no shortage of men in my life. If you can't handle it, then get the hell out. I'm sick of looking at your pathetic face. Sophia had thrown a glass at me, shattering it against my brow and leaving a bleeding gash. Crash! The sound of breaking glass snapped me back to the present. The look of hatred on Sophia's face in my memory was suddenly replaced by one of contrition. I'm so sorry, so sorry. I saw you weren't feeling well. I just wanted to get you a glass of water. The amnesiac Sophia crouched down, frantically tried to pick up the broken shards with her bare hands. In her hunched figure, I saw a reflection of my own past self, humble, pathetic, and desperate. It was true. In any relationship, the one who is more subservient is the one who gets hurt the most. Chris, my hands are still healing from the accident. That's why I couldn't hold the glass properly. It's all my fault. Sophia brushed a strand of hair from her face on the verge of tears. We've been married 10 years, and I still can't do anything right. No wonder you want to divorce me. Sniff. Chris, please don't go. Please don't leave me all alone. I'll give you everything. I knelt down and helped her up. Get up. You're not leaving? I'm not leaving. So, we're not getting a divorce. We're not. What? Am I dreaming? Sophia looked like she'd won the lottery, an incredulous smile spreading across her lips. I forced a smile in return, my mind already racing, calculating. Sophia had just said she would give me everything, so I changed my mind. After everything that woman had put me through, I couldn't just walk away. I had to get back everything I had wasted on her over the years, my energy, my love, my money, everything. To avoid arousing suspicion, I quickly invented a reason. Sophia, you know, we fought a lot over the years. I've been thinking, and maybe divorcing is too impulsive. How about this? You give me a gift, and I'll forgive you completely. Okay. Sophia agreed almost instantly, wiping away her tears. I very thoughtfully escorted her back to the hospital. The attending physician and nurses were baffled by my sudden change in behavior. Sophia, where did you run off to? We've been looking all over for you, Ashley said, rushing over. She froze when she saw me. I want to find Chris, Sophia said, looking at Ashley. Chris told me you're my best friend now, but I don't have any memory of you. That's okay. I'll fill you in on everything later, Ashley offered. Let's get you back to your bed. I just poured your medicine. Have you eaten? That's not necessary. Chris will be taking care of me from now on. You can go home and rest. Sophia clearly didn't trust Ashley and used it as an excuse to get rid of her. After I fed her the medication, she quickly fell into a deep sleep. The day passed in a blur, and by evening, I found myself watching Sophia's sleeping face, a new worry creeping into my mind. Once she woke up, my whole plan would be ruined. Chris Miller. Ashley gestured for me to come outside. Out in the hallway, the familiar craving hit me. I lit a cigarette. What is it? Why the sudden change of heart? Taking care of Sophia all of a sudden. Ashley stared at me. All right, what's your game? What are you talking about? I chuckled. Sophia and I aren't divorced yet. Legally, I still have an obligation to her. You got a problem with that? Cut the crap. I remember when you two were fighting for control of the company. You weren't shy about using dirty tricks then. Ashley's eyes narrowed. Let me give you a little warning. I'll be watching you. Don't even think about touching Sophia's assets. I let out a long plume of smoke, feeling a wave of exhaustion. If taking back what's rightfully mine is a dirty trick, then this world is truly absurd. Don't think Sophia is some saint. In her eyes, you're nothing more than a lapdog. Ashley's face flushed with anger. Shut up. Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us. Just watch yourself. If anything happens to Sophia, I'll make you regret it. With that, She turned and stomped away on her high heels. At the end of the hall, she passed another woman. They exchanged a brief glance, and then Ashley was gone. The woman, holding a stack of documents, walked toward me and adjusted her glasses. Chris, here's the information you wanted. Thanks. It's been a while, but you're still as sharp and beautiful as ever, I said with a small smile, extinguishing my cigarette. The woman before me, with her fair skin and large glasses, was Jessica Chun, a junior from my university's law program. We'd met in a club and once shared a dream of becoming designers, but life had taken us down different paths. A few years ago, I had consulted her about a company matter, but when Sophia found out, she forbade me from contacting her again. I hadn't reached out since, but now, with Sophia's accident, I had told her everything. Of course, I have to do a good job when it's for you, Chris, Jessica said with a bright smile, revealing 2 dimples. Your wife's methods are quite sophisticated, she continued. She has a system set up to transfer her existing assets every 8 hours, making them impossible to trace, even with your authorized access. Luckily, she hasn't made a move in the last 8 hours, so I was able to get a complete breakdown of all her holdings. I nodded, satisfied. Excellent. What's the total value of the assets? The portion I can transfer to your name in the short term is about $70 million, Jessica said, pointing to the documents. In addition to that, there's your wife's 51% stake in Apex Industries, which, based on current market value, is worth approximately $1.9 billion. Good. What's the fastest we can get this done? At least a week, Jessica said after a moment of thought. During that 1-week review period, the person transferring the assets must repeatedly confirm that the gift is voluntary and cannot rescind the decision. Do you foresee any problems on your wife's end? No problem at all. A week is plenty of time, I said confidently. Once it's done, you'll get your 2% commission, as we agreed. Yes. Jessica let out a small cheer, her eyes sparkling. Still such a kid, I chuckled. All right, I need you at Apex Industries tomorrow. We'll handle the shares first. No problem. Mission accepted. After saying goodbye, Jessica practically skipped down the hallway. It was hard to imagine a woman in her late 20s could still possess such childlike innocence. It was clear that she was different from me, from Sophia. She hadn't been eroded by life or tainted by a toxic relationship. Back in the hospital room, I spent the night on the pull-out cot. Sophia's foredrip was changed 3 or 4 times. Likely due to her head injury, she slept soundly. It wasn't until the next morning that her phone started blowing up. Secretaries, assistants, department heads, shareholders, all of them were panicking. Sophia had a strict rule. Unless she was unreachable for 12 hours straight, no one was to contact her. She hated being constantly disturbed. Ring, ring, ring. The moment Sophia hung up from one call, another came in. Then a woman in a sharp business suit walked in. Ms. Hayes, you had an accident. Why didn't you tell anyone? The whole company is waiting for your approval on dozens of matters. Sophia's eyes were wide with shock. Company? Approval? Half an hour later, we were at the Apex Industries Tower. As we walked through the office, employees cast nervous, confused glances our way. Sophia seemed frightened and subconsciously tightened her grip on my arm. Her assistant whispered, Ms. Hayes, don't let them know you have amnesia. You need to project your usual authority. Hearing this, Sophia cleared her throat, forced a cold expression, and tried to furrow her brow. What are you all staring at? Get back to work. The employees scattered like startled birds, watching in disbelief as Sophia walked in her office, still holding onto my arm. When I was still the VP, Sophia and I used to fight in the office all the time. Our arguments were legendary, epic battles that would bring the entire floor to a standstill. Even looking in our direction was risky. And now, Sophia was walking hand in hand with me. If I were one of them, I'd think I was dreaming too. Once the secretary closed the door, she immediately coached Sophia. Ms. Hayes, that wasn't quite severe enough. Not convincing. If others in the company sense that something is off, they might try to make a power play. So, what should I do? Be fiercer. More ruthless. Fiercer? Ruthless? Sophia thought for a moment, then awkwardly tried to make a menacing face. Like this. The secretary rubbed her forehead, an awkward silence filling the room. On second thought, maybe just don't have any expression at all. Until you regain your memory, I'll explain all your work to you in detail. You just need to do as I say. Sophia wasn't completely naive. She asked cautiously, why should I trust you, my secretary? The young woman immediately lowered her head. Ms. Hayes, you saved me from hell. I would never betray you. Years ago, I was trapped in another company, drowning in debt, enduring threats and humiliation from my boss. You were the one who stood up to them, who paid to get me out of there. I've been with you for 5 years. I see you as my own sister. After I gave a slight nod, Sophia finally seemed to trust her capable assistant. The secretary then handed Sophia a stack of documents. For a 20-year-old Sophia, who was probably still writing her senior thesis, the dense pages of financial data were an absolute nightmare. Chris, so this is what it's like to be a CEO? Thank you for making my dream come true, Sophia said, signing a multi-million-dollar contract. You must love me a lot to have started this company with me. Half of this company belongs to you. Yeah, it does, I sighed. So what position did you give me? I used to be the vice president. Now you fired me. What? Sophia looked embarrassed. Secretary, promote Chris to vice president immediately. The secretary glanced at me, puzzled, but didn't dare defy Sophia's order. She nodded and left the office. Like a mischievous little girl, Sophia peeked through the crack in the door, then ran over and grabbed my hand. Chris, you must have been angry about that, right? I'm making you VP again. We can come to work together every day, okay? Sure. I was hoping for that, I said, secretly pleased. I had been planning to subtly nudge her into reinstating me, but she had done it without any effort on my part. As VP again, I would have more power to meddle in the company's internal affairs, especially with Sophia on my side. Half an hour into my new old job, before HR could even send out the announcement, I was already digging through internal records, preparing for the stock transfer. What are you doing? Leo Carter blocked my path. He looked me up and down, a mocking sneer spreading across his face. Well, if it isn't the former VP, what brings you to my department? I scoffed. Leo, I'm here to review the shareholder data. You don't have the authority to stop me. Who the hell do you think you are? Leo said viciously. In this company, only Ms. Hayes is authorized to access this. Especially not a loser she's already dumped. Another employee in the office snickered. Boss, don't waste your breath on him. Just call Ms. Hayes and let her deal with it. Yeah, I don't even have to lift a finger. You, an outsider, trying to mess with company shares? Ms. Hayes will eat you alive. Leo chuckled. Ms. Hayes didn't seem to be in a good mood yesterday. I bet you had a rough time, didn't you? Cut the crap and get out of my way, I said, my gaze sweeping over the department managers in the office. A wave of anger washed over me. These were the very people I had personally promoted, the core team I had built. And now, they were all kissing Leo's ass, shifting with the political winds. They had witnessed the good times between me and Sophia, and they had also watched as she kicked me to the curb. It was almost funny. After more than a decade of hard work, I didn't have a single trustworthy person by my side. Chris Miller, I heard you're back at the company. No wonder you're acting so high and mighty. Leo seemed to have forgotten yesterday's incident, still convinced he was number one in Sophia's heart. You old fossil, still trying to compete with me? Know your place. Ms. Hayes will never favor you again. Stop clinging to her. Leo's voice was loud, attracting the attention of half the office. Many employees gathered around, eager to watch the showdown between me and Sophia's new favorite. Just as he was gloating, Sophia and her secretary appeared at the end of the hallway. After some coaching, she had managed to mostly replicate the cold, aloof expression of her 30-year-old self. I have an announcement to make, Sophia said flatly to the crowd. Effective immediately, Chris Miller is the vice president of this company. His orders are my orders. A collective gasp went through the onlookers. Leo, who had been so arrogant just moments before, turned pale. This is impossible. Ms. Hayes, didn't you? Shut up. Sophia glanced at him. Do I need you to tell me how to run my business? Pack your things and get out. I pointed to several other managers in the office. Might as well fire these ones too. We don't need backstabbers in these positions. You few, get out as well. A single glare from Sophia was enough to render them speechless. Two of them even started begging me for another chance. But if I could be this ruthless to Sophia, what did they matter? I had no mercy for those who kick a man when he's down. As Leo carried his box out of the office, he shot me a venomous look, as if he wanted to devour me whole. Just 2 days ago, he was holding Appliance Sophia, flaunting his victory in my face. He had no idea I never wanted to fight him for that piece of rotten meat in the first place. The remaining employees, fearing they'd be next, scrambled back to their desks and sat ramrod straight. After getting the data I needed, I found an excuse to send the secretary away and had Jessica come up to the office. A few moments later, the girl with a mischievous smile walked in, carrying a folder. Ms. Hayes, Mr. Miller, good to see you. This is... Sophia asked. Oh, this is a lawyer I've hired to handle some legal issues for the company, I said calmly. You're not remembering things well right now, so just trust me on this. Okay. Sophia nodded obediently, picked up a pen, and started signing. As a precaution, Jessica set up a small camera to record the entire process, just in case Sophia suddenly had a change of heart. To be honest, I was a little nervous. Who knew if Sophia would suddenly regain her memory and turn around and sue me? But after a few moments, I realized I was overthinking it. Sophia trusted me unconditionally, without any reason or excuse. She didn't even read the contracts. Words like voluntary gift and share transfer were completely overlooked. Hey, as she signed the last page, Sophia seemed to notice something was off. She saw my name on the contract, the only name that could capture her attention. Chris, the recipient here is listed as you. Is that right? Of course it's right. What's mine is yours, right? I smiled and patted her head affectionately. But suddenly, as if a memory had been triggered, her expression turned to one of pain. Chris, my head. It hurts so much. Sophia clutched her head, shaking it back and forth. That's when I remembered. Those were the vows we had spoken at our wedding. I remember the officiant on the stage asking the standard questions. Sophia got impatient, snatched the microphone, and looked at me with deep affection. Chris, you are the most important person I have ever met in my life. Forget about poverty or sickness. Even if it were the end of the world, I would never leave you. You saved my life. From now on, what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. It seems Sophia was remembering a particularly poignant moment. I quickly patted her back. Sophia, are you okay? Are you feeling unwell? I'm fine. Sophia grit her teeth against the pain and picked up the pen to sign the last name. Chris, I'm almost done. I won't hold you up. I feign concern. It's okay. Why don't you take a break? But just then, the door burst open and Ashley stormed in, furious. Crap. My heart skipped a beat. What are you doing here? Oh, what do you think? I'm here to expose you. Ashley walked right up to Sophia. Sophia, this man is trying to steal your assets. Don't you dare trust him. To my surprise, Sophia seemed even more flustered than I was. Don't you talk about Chris like that. What? What proof do you have? Ashley pointed at the desk. Look at the contract yourself. I guarantee there's something shady in there. Sophia stood firmly by my side. Stop trying to drive a wedge between me and Chris. I had a feeling you were trouble from start. Ever since I woke up, all you've done is badmouth him. Most of our fights in the past were probably your fault, stirring things up. Do you take me for a fool? I know how good Chris is to me. This tirade left Ashley speechless. She nodded her head furiously. I'm doing this for your own good. Do you remember how you used to curse Chris Miller's name? Try to remember. If this continues, you're going to be left with nothing. Chris would never trick me. Get out right now, or I'm calling security. Seeing Sophia so resolute, Ashley lunged forward and shoved the contract at her face. It was too late for me to stop her. Look what it says. Full transfer of all Apex Industries shares to Chris Miller, along with nearly $30 million in personal assets, $20 million in real estate. You idiot. You may have lost your memory, but you can still read, can't you? Ashley whirled on me. Chris Miller, what do you have to say for yourself? In the next second, Sophia shoved her away. Don't you yell at him. Sophia's eyes were red. You think I don't know anything? Chris worked his fingers to the bone with me for years. Everything I have today is because of his hard work. What's mine is his. Shouldn't he have all of this? Ashley staggered back, stunned. Do you know what he went through for me? After my family went bankrupt in college, debt collectors used to wait for me outside campus every day. Chris fought them for me, got beaten, and cut up so badly he almost died. Sophia's voice was steady. Do you know how much he cared for me? He was more of a brother to me than my own brother. He couldn't stand to see me suffer even a little. He even gave up his own dreams for me. She continued, her voice rising. Now I have everything, and he has nothing. That's not fair. All I want is him. I don't care about any of this stuff. I stared at the contract on the table, silent. Ashley's face was ashen. What are you looking at? Go. If I lose Chris because of you, I'll never forgive you. Sophia was on the verge of tears. As if afraid I would run away, she rushed over and clung to me tightly. I hesitated for a moment, then hugged her back. But the place where my heart was supposed to be felt cold and empty. Ashley fled the room in disgrace. Jessica cautiously gave me a thumbs up and then began to organize the documents. It's okay. It's okay. I kept comforting Sophia. I was just worried you wouldn't be able to manage your assets properly, since you can't remember anything right now, and what if? I understand. Sophia lifted her face, as if waiting for my praise. How could you possibly hurt me, Chris? You're the most important person in my life. If you really want all of this, it's fine with me. Just as long as you don't leave me. Chris, you won't leave me, will you? As I hesitated, I saw Jessica behind her, frantically gesturing the number 7 with her hand. She was reminding me that the asset transfer had a 1-week confirmation period. Sophia was still useful to me. I couldn't blow it now. Of course not, I said, feigning surprise. Why would you even think that? Haven't I given you enough security? No, Sophia quickly backtracked. That's not it. How about we go get some lunch? It's almost noon. All right, we found a steakhouse near the office building. As Sophia looked at the menu, she was as cautious as she used to be, double-checking the price of every item. Seeing her careful deliberation, my memory was pulled back 10 years. Back then, we were struggling interns, barely had 2 nickels to rub together. Whenever we had something to celebrate, passing an interview, getting a paycheck, Sophia would take me out for a steak. She would always order a small filet mignon, then give me half, claiming her appetite was small. It wasn't until one day I saw her staring longingly at a steak on a billboard that my heart nearly broke. How could 20 not be beautiful? That was when Sophia loved me, and loved me more deeply than at any other time. Chris. After a while, Sophia whispered to me, "The steaks here are so expensive. Let's go somewhere else." I smiled and whispered back, "Ms. Hayes, have you forgotten you're the CEO of a publicly traded company? You can order whatever you want. Besides, prices have gone up a lot in 10 years. Sophia's eyes widened in realization. Oh, you're right. With a grand wave of her hand, she ordered a cut of every steak on the menu for me, while she settled for a small plate of pasta. We ordered 2 glasses of red wine and clinked them together in a silent toast. "It's so good to be rich," Sophia said, her face tilted upwards. "I really hope I don't wake up from this dream." I nodded. "Yeah, me too." She was afraid that when she woke up, I'd be gone. I was afraid that when she woke up, the money would be gone. I couldn't imagine how furious Sophia would be when she discovered all her money had disappeared. But that wouldn't be my problem. In just 7 days, I would leave this city and be free of the demon who had tormented me for a decade. In just 7 days, I would be a multimillionaire, and Sophia would lose everything: her wealth, her career, and her love. As long as nothing went wrong in these next 7 days, my future would be as bright as I wanted it to be. The thought almost made me laugh out loud. Seeing me smile, Sophia broke into a goofy grin of her own. After lunch, I escorted her back to the hospital. The entire time, I scanned our surroundings, terrified that some accident might trigger her memory. To really sell my performance, I bought her a huge fruit parfait and personally fed it to her while her four dripped, spoonful by spoonful of fake sweetness and happiness. The 20-year-old Sophia was at the peak of her love for me. Even though I wasn't young anymore, even though my personality had been weathered by life, she was still completely infatuated with me. And after years of knowing her, I could easily manipulate her heart, driving her completely mad for me. As they say, if you're going to put on a show, you have to go all the way. I had been through enough to know the danger of celebrating too early. So until the agreement was finalized, to the outside world, Sophia and I were the most blissfully in love couple. "Chris, tell me about us," Sophia said, her face full of curiosity. "After we got married, how did we get to where we are today? It sounds like it was really hard." "It was," I said, my eyes distant. "Remember, right after graduation, we couldn't even find jobs, let alone the startup capital to start a business. Later, to gain experience quickly, you went to work for another company to learn their system, then copied their entire business model to start our own. Guess what happened?" "What happened?" Sophia giggled, seemingly thrilled by her own audacity. "The owner of that company had deep connections in the industry. He was furious and almost had us thrown in jail." I laughed humorlessly. I had to apologize to a table full of industry titans, drinking 3 full glasses of whiskey for each one. I ended up in the hospital getting my stomach pumped, but they finally let it go. We lost the company, the funding dried up, and a whole year of our savings went down the drain. Sophia's laughter died. She looked at me, her face full of guilt. "I'm so sorry, Chris. I caused you so much trouble. It's all in the past. It's fine," I said with a bitter smile. After that, we took over a project from another bankrupt company and sold their inventory out of the back of a van day and night. Once we cleared the stock, we finally had enough to stabilize our new company. Life was exhausting back then, but we were full of energy. When we got tired at night, we'd sleep in the van. When we were hungry, we'd make do with a couple of bread rolls. Not like now, all soft and delicate. Sophia just looked at me, silent. It was true. She could endure hardship back then. In the prime of her life, she had built something from nothing with me. I wanted a stable life, but she wanted more. Her father's debts had plunged her family into poverty. As she always said, she was scared of being poor and didn't want our family to end up like hers. 10 years later, she had certainly achieved that, but there was no longer any room for me at the top. Lost in thought, I looked over and saw that Sophia had fallen asleep, her chest rising and falling with each breath. The soft drip of the floor was the only sound in the sterile, silent room. The air was cold. I tucked her in and quietly left the room, making sure to stop by the nurse's station. Here's $1,000. Starting today, I want you to watch Ms. Hayes like a hawk. I don't want any accidents, you understand? The nurses nodded dumbly, watching me leave the hospital. After lighting a cigarette, I didn't have to wait long before a white sedan pulled up. Jessica slowly rolled down the window, her large eyes sparkling. Your chariot awaits, my benefactor. Don't call me that, I said, coughing awkwardly and scanning the area. Hey, I'm not wrong. Come on, let's go. I'm about to burst. Jessica pulled me into the car and peeled out. 10 minutes later, we were at a night market next to a hotel on the outer loop. It was just before 11, and the place was bustling with people and sizzling with the smells of grilled food. Jessica and I found a barbecue stand by the river and ordered a case of beer. Chris, in 6 more days, you'll be free. Aren't you excited? Aren't you happy? I'm happy. I nodded, but I couldn't feel any excitement. Maybe years of hardship had weathered me down. Leaving Sophia would only bring a sense of relief to my weary heart. We're here to celebrate. Don't be so down. Jessica pinched my cheeks into a smile and stuffed a skewer into my mouth. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to sleep for a month. By the way, where do you plan to go after this? What will you do? I haven't really thought about it, I mused. Maybe travel the world? Or build a small villa? Or maybe start another company. As long as I'm away from Sophia, any life will be full of sunshine. Why do you keep bringing her up? Jessica suddenly leaned in close, her eyes glinting behind her glasses. Chris, can I ask you something? And I want an honest answer. Go ahead. Do you really not have any feelings left for her? Even for the her that exists right now, is there no chance of reconciliation? Her question caught me off guard. A thought suddenly struck me, and I stood up, wary. Who put you up to this? Was it Ashley? Of course not. Jessica quickly explained. I'm on your side, Chris. There's no benefit for me in you two getting back together. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. I took a deep breath and sat back down, a sense of helplessness washing over me. Jessica, we've known each other for years. We're practically family. You can't betray me. If I lose you too, I won't have anyone left to trust. The constant tension was messing with my head. I had actually thought Ashley had sent Jessica to persuade me to let Sophia go. Don't worry. I'm not dumb enough to turn my back on a golden opportunity. Jessica ran over and started massaging my shoulders. I just want to talk, that's all. I feel like you're under way too much stress. There's not much to say about me and Sophia. I fumbled for a cigarette, but couldn't find one, so I took a long swig of beer instead. I have no feelings left for her. This is all just an act. Jessica let out a soft "oh" and then fell silent. The awkwardness stretched for a full 2 minutes before I finally broke it. All right, my turn to ask you a question. After 10 years, how have you not changed at all? You're still so positive. It's not like I'm always positive, Jessica said with a sudden, bitter smile. If I was happy all the time, would I be out here drinking with you? My 20s haven't been great. My parents forced me into a job I hate, dealing with lawsuits all day until my brain feels like it's going to explode. It's not just my career that's a mess, my love life is too. I've been on dates with 3 different guys my parents set me up with, and all of them were trying to get in my pants. I didn't even like them. She sighed. My parents control too much of my life, my job, my relationships. I can't choose what I want. I actually envy you, Chris. Even though things are a mess with your wife now, at least you had a time when you were truly happy together. I nodded. You have a point. But the price of that happiness isn't something everyone can afford. I've been hurt too deeply. I can't see any hope for the future right now. Jessica raised her beer bottle and clinked it against mine. After a moment, she said, Hey, Chris, why don't we start a design studio? I'm quitting this crappy job as soon as I get the money anyway. I don't care about being rich. I just want to chase that old dream again. Her words sent a wave of warmth through me. That's a great idea. I'm in. Then let's celebrate in advance. Cheers. Cheers. When I woke up, it was the next morning. The harsh sunlight streaming through the window made me realize I was in a hotel room. I turned my head and saw Jessica smiling at me. You? Me? What happened last night? I tried to remember, but my head was pounding. You were completely wasted last night. I told you to stop drinking, but you just kept going. I didn't know where you lived, so I just got us a room. Jessica leisurely put on her socks and patted the bed beside her. Don't worry, it's a room with 2 beds. I have to get to the law firm, so I'm leaving now. There's some warm milk on the nightstand for your hangover. I breathed a sigh of relief and collapsed back onto the bed. After getting dressed, I bought some breakfast and headed to the hospital. When I arrived, Sophia was anxiously questioning the nurse on duty. Did he say where he went last night? Why can't you just call him for me? I don't know how to use this new phone. I cleared my throat. Sophia, I'm back. The moment she saw me, Sophia rushed over, demanding to know where I'd been. I gave her some vague excuse and then resumed my role as her caregiver. The days were monotonous, but Sophia was perfectly content. She constantly told me how wonderful I was and that if I ever got sick, she would take care of me just as diligently. I would just joke that she was always cursing me with illness. 3 days passed like this. I was getting closer to being free of Sophia, but she seemed to be growing more attached to me. She would even follow me to the bathroom and stand guard outside the door, telling anyone who passed that her husband was inside. It was incredibly embarrassing. The discharge papers are all set. We can go. Sophia's injuries weren't severe, and a few days were enough for her to recover. At the hospital entrance, she grabbed my hand, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Chris, thank you for taking care of me these past few days. I have a big surprise for you. What kind of surprise? You'll see. It's a secret for now. Sophia put a finger to her lips, then insisted we go to the old food truck row on the east side of town. It was a place with all kinds of cheap, delicious food, a haven for us during our toughest years. For her, it might have only been a week since her last visit. For me, it had been years. I had almost forgotten the way. Luckily, the place hadn't changed much. Sophia and I walked hand in hand. Passers-by cast envious glances our way, seemingly impressed that a couple in their 30s could still be as affectionate as young lovers. Ma'am, 1 sugar art, please. Sophia stopped an old stall. The stand had been there for over a decade. I still remembered the first time we came here. We were just friends on the verge of something more. The old woman who ran the stall, trying to play matchmaker, told us that if we held hands while spinning the wheel, we'd have a better chance of landing on the dragon. We actually did, and we were ecstatic for the rest of the day. After that, Sophia came here often, convinced it was good luck for our relationship. The old woman looked us over and recognized us immediately. Well, if it isn't the young couple from the university. It must have been 3 or 4 years since I last saw you. Sophia seemed a bit flustered. Oh, right, yes. We just felt like coming by today. My, how time flies. You two must have been married for a while now. The old woman arranged the sugar art, smiling. You two have such a wonderful relationship. I've seen so many couples like you, but very few make it this far. Of course, my husband and I are very close. He was just taking care of me in the hospital a few days ago, Sophia said proudly, the expensive gold hoops in her ears glinting. I just chuckled and said nothing. The old woman looked at me, a little puzzled. I truly hope you two grow old together. This world is so materialistic and complicated now. Not like in my day, when a couple could start a life with just 2 buns and a bag of rice. You couldn't get by without each other. Thank you for your blessing. We will, Sophia said, paying the woman. Then she held out her hand. I placed mine on top of hers. But when the wheel spun, the pointer landed on the rat. Sophia's expression soured. The old woman quickly saved the situation. Oh, that one. It means you two only have eyes for each other. Really? That's wonderful. Sophia took the sugar art and offered me the first bite, acting just like a child. Just as I took a bite, my phone rang. Seeing it was a call to verify the asset transfer, I quickly pulled Sophia aside and had her answer it. Since she didn't know how to use a modern smartphone, I had been holding on to it for her. Sophia, the person on the other end, is going to ask you a few questions. Just confirm everything they say, okay? Okay. Sophia obediently took the phone. Ms. Sophia Hayes, we are calling to verify the transfer of $70 million in assets to your husband, Mr. Chris Miller, to be held as separate property. Can you confirm that this is a voluntary transaction on your part? Yes, Sophia answered quickly, breezing through the questions. As I listened, a grin spread across my face. The verification was done, which meant the official process could begin. In less than 3 days, it would all be over. Thank you. The assets will be officially transferred in 3 days. Please note that you may cancel this transaction at any time within the next 3 days. After she hung up, I tested the waters. Sophia, has your best friend been saying things about me behind my back? She has, Sophia said angrily. She said you're just pretending to love me, so you could take all my money and then divorce me. Oh, I feigned surprise. Really? Why would she think that about me? Sophia stuck out her tongue. Who cares? I'm not going to listen to a stranger anyway. I know who's good to me. And what if I really was planning to do that? If you really were, I'd still let you. Sophia looked up at me, her youthful tone belying the weariness in her eyes. My whole being is yours. You can do whatever you want with me. If you really want to leave me, it must be for my own reasons. I won't cling to you. I nodded on the outside, but inside I was ecstatic. This was a gift from the heavens. This would save me so much trouble down the line. If Sophia remained in this state, I could make a clean getaway. Even if she regained her memory, she would be powerless against me. She'd probably have a heart attack from the shock. Just as I was thinking this, a new message popped up on her phone. The sender was Ashley. Sophia, I want you to see what kind of person Chris Miller really is. He slept with another woman last night. Before I could react, several photos appeared on the screen. They were all candid shots of me and Jessica entering and leaving a hotel together. That damn woman. I cursed inwardly. I never thought she'd stoop this low. To screw me over. Ashley must have been tailing me for days. And she knew I was monitoring Sophia's phone. So she deliberately sent the message while Sophia was on another call. If this made Sophia angry, or worse, triggered her memory, my $70 million would go up in smoke. Sophia stared at the photos, zooming in and out. Chris, who is this? She's a friend of mine. We went out for a drink last night to catch up. I explained, trying to sound casual. Your friend is taking things out of context. Don't believe her. Sophia's face darkened with jealousy. Why would you have drinks with her at a hotel? You told me you were going home to get some things last night. I sighed. I just didn't want you to worry. It was a room with 2 beds. I'd been drinking nearby, and it was late, so I just got a room. If you don't believe me, we can go check the hotel records. Sophia took a step back. Does that explanation really sound reasonable to you? And why do you need to talk to another woman about your problems? Can't you talk to me? Her reaction was understandable. Back when we were 20, she would get jealous if I even chatted with another girl, let alone spent the night in a hotel with one. But right now, I want to scream. I want to tell her that she was the one who cheated first. She was the one who wanted a divorce. We were essentially already separated. I could sleep with whomever I wanted, and it was none of her business. But I remembered how she clutched her head in pain when I mentioned the divorce at the hospital. I was afraid of saying anything that might jog her memory. For the sake of my $70 million, I had to swallow my anger and console her like I used to when we were young and in love. Sophia turned and started weaving through the crowd, and I followed close behind. Sophia, don't be angry. I should have told you beforehand. I really just went for a drink. Nothing happened. What do you want? I'll buy it for you. A new purse? Makeup? She turned to face me, her eyes red. Chris, I don't want any of that. I just want you. If you've really fallen for someone else, like they say, it will break my heart. We stood there on the crowded street, staring at each other in silence. Just as I gently wiped a tear from her cheek and her mood seemed to be improving, Ashley emerged from a nearby alley. Chris Miller, how long are you going to keep up this act? Going behind Sophia's back with other women. Have you no shame? She walked over to Sophia's side. Strangely, this time, Sophia didn't push her away. I said coolly, you've been following me for so long. Why don't you show her all the pictures? Show her that I was just having a drink. I don't care what you were doing. The fact is, you got a hotel room with another woman, Ashley accused, pointing at me. You've already transferred all of Sophia's assets, and now you're planning to abandon her. You're heartless. Seeing that Sophia was silent, she pressed on, her voice pleading. Sophia, I'm the one trying to help you. Don't be fooled by this man. Call the bank and cancel the transfer. You can still undo this. If you wait any longer, not even a miracle can save you. Sophia shook her head. I want to hear it from Chris himself. Does he not love me anymore? The situation was getting critical. I had to lie through my teeth. I love you. Of course I love you, Sophia. If I didn't, why would I have married you, lived with you for 10 years, and built this empire with you? I love you and you love me. Do we really need outsiders meddling in our affairs? As Sophia hesitated, Ashley interjected. You're wrong, Sophia. You stopped loving Chris years ago. He's been neglected by you for so long. He doesn't have any feelings for you either. Right now, all he wants is to take your money and get rid of you for good. Then you'll truly have nothing. Sophia stared at me, muttering, I don't believe I would ever stop loving Chris. And I don't believe he has no feelings for me. You don't believe it? Fine. Seeing that her persuasion was failing, Ashley played her trump card. When Leo Carter emerged from behind her, I knew just how well she had prepared. This is Leo Carter. Do you remember him? Ashley asked. He was a few years behind you in the same major at university. The campus heartthrob. You've been in love with him for a long time. After this introduction, Leo immediately stepped forward, oozing charm. Ms. Hayes, I just found out you lost your memory. No wonder you didn't recognize me. We've been dating for 8 months. Look at my face. Does it ring a bell? The combined assault from both of them was clearly too much for Sophia. She clutched her head, her face contorted in pain. Seeing this, I knew things were going south. I tried to intervene, but Leo blocked my path. Get out of my way. Are you trying to hurt her? Pushing her like this? Don't you dare pretend to care. You'd probably be thrilled if she dropped dead, wouldn't you? Leo gritted his teeth. You're just jealous that I have her love, jealous of her success. You're using her amnesia to take everything from her and then throw her away. Chris Miller, you are a monster. His words were the final straw. My anger boiled over. Forgetting all pretense of civility, I kicked him squarely in the chest, sending him sprawling to the ground. I'm a monster? How the hell am I the monster? I roared. I gave Sophia 10 years of my life and ended up with nothing. Who's the real monster here? Don't think I don't know what you two are up to. You. Ashley, you consulted a lawyer about asset transfers, didn't you? I have friends with connections. You can't hide that from me. You just want to snatch Sophia's money from me. So stop pretending to be some noble savior. I pointed at Leo. And you. You've been a boy toy for so long you've forgotten your place. You're less than a dog, and you think you can take over? If it weren't for Sophia's money, would you be sleeping with her? I could be dead for 800 years, and you still wouldn't have the right to spend a single cent of her money. Because every penny she has, half of it is mine. Do you understand? My outburst stunned them into silence. I had seen through their little schemes long ago. Given Sophia's nasty temper, anyone still hanging around her at this point was definitely not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. The air crackled with tension, ready to ignite at any moment. The three of us, each with our own agenda, were fighting over Sophia. But just then, Sophia herself seemed to return to normal. Her expression was strange. Leo immediately scrambled to his feet and pulled out some photos. Ms. Hayes, do you remember me now? These are some pictures from when we were together. Look, this is at a private pool. You were so sexy. And this one, we were playing golf on the rooftop and having coffee. Isn't this the kind of romance you always wanted? But Sophia just pushed him away. Are you kidding me? She asked, incredulous. You're telling me that I would choose to love a pathetic pretty boy like you over my amazing Chris? We were married for 5 years, and you think I would throw away 5 years of love for you? You really think highly of yourself, don't you? If you're gonna lie, at least make it believable. Sophia's words left Leo utterly dumbfounded. A wave of relief washed over me. At least she hadn't regained her memory. But it was true. Sophia had always looked down on these boy toys. They were just for fun. When she got bored, she'd move on to the next one. Besides, Leo's appearance in her life wasn't because he was exceptional. It was because my relationship with Sophia had already deteriorated beyond repair. Our breakdown was the result of countless small incidents, big fights, and misunderstandings. Despair is like a cancer. Once it starts, it spreads until it consumes everything. Ms. Hazy. Leo looked devastated. But you said I was your favorite. You're really shameless. Get out of my sight before I call the police. That was the most threatening thing Sophia could think of. To her 20-year-old self, calling the police was the most serious thing one could do. Seeing he had no chance, and not wanting to anger Sophia further, Leo scurried away. Having lost a key ally, Ashley still wouldn't give up. Sophia, why don't we have a proper talk? Things really aren't what you think they are. No, thank you, Sophia said, cutting her off. This is between me and Chris. From now on, don't meddle in our affairs. I know how to handle this myself. We may have been close before, but right now, the only person I trust is Chris. We have nothing more to do with each other. This final declaration completely floored Ashley. She never imagined Sophia would cut ties with her. All her efforts had been for nothing. Fine. Sophia, I can't believe you'd do this to me, Ashley said through gritted teeth. I'm going to let everyone see your true colors. When Chris Miller cheats you out of everything, don't you come crying back to us. With that, she turned and stormed off. Sure enough, within half a day, the news of Sophia's amnesia had spread throughout the entire company, and chaos ensued. Before I could even get to the office, I was flooded with notification from the secretary. The shareholders and management had already begun a new round of power struggles, each with their own selfish motives. Departments were being reshuffled, and Sophia's core team was being dismantled with a speed that was almost unbelievable. Mr. Miller, we have a big problem. All the shareholders are trying to get a piece of your wife's shares. We can't hold them off, the secretary said, her voice frantic. It's fine. As long as I'm here, they can't do anything. Call a shareholder meeting immediately. I was calm. 10 years of trials had prepared me for this moment. At the meeting, everyone had their say, but they all agreed on one thing. Sophia had to step down. In her current state, she was no longer fit to be the CEO. A few of the older shareholders started shouting across the table. The tension so thick it scared Sophia into silence, until I lightly tapped the table. Stop. The company will continue to operate as usual. I will reallocate responsibilities to ensure everyone gets a piece of the pie. The moment I said this, a couple of old geezers pointed their fingers at my nose and started shouting. Who the hell do you think you are, Chris Miller? You've been VP for a few days, and you think you can run the show? Tell Sophia to hand over her shares, or things are going to get ugly for both of you. Seeing others ready to pounce, I pulled out a set of documents. Watch your tone. All of Sophia's shares are now in my name. So tell me, Do I have the right to be here? My words silenced the entire room. The secretary looked at me in disbelief. They all knew that in the past 3 days as VP, I had already seized control of all management channels. I had anticipated Ashley's move today. Her goal was to use the shareholder chaos to purge Sophia's team and install her own people. I had kept the secretary in the dark because I knew she would have tried to protect Sophia's interests, perhaps even rallying the shareholders against me beforehand. Now, 80% of the company was under my control. Does anyone else have an objection? I clear my throat. Stick with me, and you'll be rewarded. You two shareholders who were just shouting so loudly. Why don't you hand over your shares? We could distribute them among the rest. If you don't want to leave gracefully, I can help you leave. At the prospect of getting more shares, the others' eyes lit up with greed. This was the perfect opportunity to pick a side. The two shareholders, under immense pressure, had no choice but to sell their shares and leave. After my corporate coup, I was officially named the new CEO, and I promoted the secretary to vice president. After years with Sophia, she knew the business inside and out. From now on, you and your team will handle most of the day-to-day operations. If you don't, my revenge against Sophia will be even worse. I threatened her. But don't get any ideas. My people will be watching you at all times. Using Sophia as leverage worked perfectly. The secretary was trapped. She just never imagined I could be so ruthless. After he left the company, Sophia's attitude toward me had completely changed. Chris, you're amazing. You wanted the shares to control those people. If it weren't for you, I don't know what I would have done. She thought I was acting in her best interest, that my intentions were noble. She believed everything I said. Why would I ever lie to you, you silly girl? I chuckled. Those two were trying to steal your company. I'm the only one who's truly on your side. And I never cheated on you. I believe you now. To completely soothe her emotions, I leaned in and, catching her off guard, kissed her on the forehead. It took a great deal of mental effort to overcome my revulsion, but to ensure my plan went off without a hitch, I was willing to do anything. Feeling the warmth on her forehead, Sophia's face flushed crimson. Beneath the sophisticated makeup, she looked every bit the young girl. What were you doing? There are so many people around, she whispered, so shy she looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. We've been married for 10 years. What's wrong with a little kiss? I said matter-of-factly. Sophia, as long as I'm here, you don't have to worry about a thing. I'll always be with you. My firm reassurance finally calmed her down. That night, we lay by the rooftop pool of our downtown penthouse, gazing at the star-dusted sky. Sophia suddenly spoke. Chris, I've heard bits and pieces about our life together. Over the past 10 years, did I fight with you a lot? Did I do things to hurt you? You did. But why are you asking? I want to know what I did wrong, so I can fix it. I really don't want to fight with you. Sophia's voice was sincere. Even though in my memory, I haven't done any of those things for you, I'm willing to apologize and change. I don't want you to hate me. I don't want to become that person I was 10 years from now. I nodded. Where do you want to start? The first fight. The first really bad one. All right. I stared up at the stars. The first major fight was about a year after we got married. You took a part-time job behind my back and got harassed by a customer. I didn't understand why you needed to work extra jobs when you already had one. You said you wanted to raise startup capital as fast as possible. What happened? I beat the guy up and we had to pay a lot in damages. You didn't speak to me for 3 days after that. Sophia was silent for a moment. Did I really become that obsessed with money? But I was willing to struggle with you. You weren't obsessed with money. You just wanted a better life for us. It wasn't your fault. Okay, what about the second time? The second time was in our 3rd year of marriage. We disagreed on the company's direction. You were starting to make a name for yourself, and a lot of big investors were approaching you. I spoke slowly. I wanted the company to grow independently. You wanted to leverage their resources to expand quickly. But I could tell those investors had bad intentions, so I caused a scene at a business dinner. And the result, you lost 3 potential deals because of it. You told me I was holding you back. You left and didn't come back for 2 days. I spent those 2 days searching for you everywhere. I continued. Back then, we were living in that small 800-square-foot condo. Life was tough, but things were slowly getting better. We worked together, went grocery shopping after work, and picked out the biggest watermelons we could find. I remember you saw some trick online for picking a good watermelon, where you had to slap it with both hands. You were supposed to listen for a certain sound. The watermelon wasn't right, but you slapped it so hard it split open. We had to buy a broken watermelon. At this, Sophia couldn't help but laugh. Was I really that dumb? That sounds so fake. Haha. That's what I thought too, I said with a small smile. Maybe we were too focused on work. We stopped paying attention to the little things in life. Sophia said, but that sounds nice. That's the kind of life I wanted. What happened after that? The next big fight was right after the company went public. As I spoke, the smile vanished from my face. Your parents, who had been out of the picture for years, suddenly reappeared, and they brought along a rich suitor for you to marry. They were afraid you'd refuse, so they came to me privately, belittling me, saying a man like me wasn't good enough for their daughter, that I should take a good look in the mirror. They tried to force me to divorce you. And you walked in on me arguing with your parents. Without hearing my side of the story, you yelled at me, and that was the end of that. Didn't you explain? What was there to explain? Some things can't be fixed with an explanation. Besides, I was afraid that if I told you, you would really start to think I wasn't good enough for you. Sophia looked at me, incredulous. How could that be? If it was a choice between you and my parents, I would always choose you. I would never listen to them. The you of today wouldn't. The you of 5 years from now might be a different story, I murmured. People change. Not just their faces, but their hearts too. Nothing in this world is eternal. Stars shift, seas dry up, even promises are scattered by the wind. And based on my understanding of you, I wasn't wrong. After a long silence, Sophia spoke again. And then what? Then you got pregnant, but you were so busy with the company that you got rid of the baby we had tried so hard for. I sighed. After that, you couldn't have children anymore. Our dream was shattered. We fought about it so many times, but every time, you would say how hard you were working, how you couldn't be burdened with a child. You'd say if I'd just been better, you wouldn't have had to do it. But I thought I was already doing my best, working late every night, just as hard as you. I was exhausted, and I just wanted to ask you, what would it take for you to finally be satisfied? And there was another, more important reason, the reason you got rid of the baby. It might not have been just because of the company. After all this time, I still couldn't say it out loud. That was the first time I suspected Sophia was cheating. But before I could find any proof, she had already terminated the pregnancy. The truth disappeared with that child, becoming a topic I could never touch again. Sophia seemed to sense something, a flicker of fear in her eyes. The wind on the rooftop was strong, gently lifting her long hair. I could feel it. She didn't have the courage to ask any more questions. The reason I dared to tell her all this was because after days of testing her, I knew how she would react. The 20-year-old Sophia, hearing these things, would only feel immense guilt, and that would make my escape much smoother. But there was another, more important reason. Before I left, I wanted to give us both some closure. For 10 years, I had been a long-suffering husband, giving my all and still being criticized. I wanted to switch roles just once. I wanted Sophia to be the one in pain, to see the damage her future self would inflict on me. They say power corrupts. She was so blinded by her ambition, she couldn't see the forest for the trees. I just wanted a simple life, but Sophia's desires were endless. Her eyes had been clouded by materialism for so long. She couldn't see my sacrifice or my pain. And then what? After a long silence, Sophia asked again. I think she had found the courage to face it. And then there was 2 years ago. I began, choosing my words carefully. I found flirtatious messages on your phone. I spent countless nights alone while you were out. I confronted you at home, and you froze all my bank accounts. I confronted you at the company, and you stripped me of all my duties. You told me to my face that whatever you did was none of my business, and that I should get as far away from you as possible. Not only that, you also smashed the gift you gave me when you first confessed your love. I paused. That gift. It was my favorite thing in the world. It was a model Sophia had spent 2 weeks painstakingly assembling. A model of a Ferris wheel. I had loved Ferris wheels since I was a kid, but we could never afford to ride them. So whenever we passed one, I would just stand and stare. Sophia had remembered that. Haha, I know your dream is to be an architect, so I made you this model. It's very detailed, you know. I hope that even when you're with me, you can still pursue your passions. That's the real you. But in that one fight, she had so easily shattered the thing I treasured most. From that moment on, my connection to Sophia shattered with it. I really did something that horrible? I'm so sorry. I think I finally understand why you want to divorce me. Sophia started to cry again, whether out of guilt or fear, I couldn't tell. Her 20-year-old self was delicate, a bit of a crybaby, but seeing that expression on her 30-year-old face just seemed wrong. Looking at her now, all I could think of was her cold indifference, her anger, her impatience. Why don't you ask what happened next? I lit a cigarette out of habit. What happened next were countless fights, big and small, until we didn't even bother to fight anymore. I wouldn't see you for weeks at a time. The last fight we had was 6 days ago, when I caught you in bed with another man. That guy, Leo, was fawning all over you. When I burst in, you didn't even acknowledge me. I will never forget that scene for the rest of my life. Leo was gloating in my face, and you were pointing your finger at me, telling me to get lost. Ugh, As I spoke, Sophia involuntarily started to gag. The thought of herself with another man made her physically ill. Am I really that much of a monster? Sophia looked completely broken. She looked at me with a mix of fear and desperation. Chris, I'm not the 30-year-old Sophia anymore. I'm a 20-year-old Sophia. Please give me another chance. I know what I need to do now. I'll never let you suffer like that again. Sure, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. I'm a very forgiving person. I'll let the past be the past. I just hope you can treat me better from now on, to make up for my broken heart. Sophia clung to my words like a lifeline. She rushed over. Don't worry, Chris, I will make it up to you. You shouldn't have had to go through all that. My heart aches for you. She threw her arms around me and started sobbing. My expression remained neutral, my heart a calm, still lake. To be honest, I almost felt sorry for her. In her, I saw my own past self, desperate and pathetic. As Sophia climbed higher and needed me less and less, I had still tried to make things work. I had begged, pleaded, prayed for the old Sophia to come back. And now she was back, but I no longer needed her. Now, it was my turn to play games to stomp on her feelings. I had to admit, the guilt trip was incredibly effective. For the next 2 days, Sophia was exceptionally well-behaved at my beck and call, and I felt it was my due. Before I left, why not let her serve me one last time? I want to go hiking, she bought me the best gear. I want to go to a spa, she booked the best one in the city. Every morning, I woke up to a hot, freshly cooked meal. I was very satisfied. Chris, how's my technique? Not bad. Not bad at all, I said, leaning back as the once powerful CEO gave me a massage. I glanced at my watch from time to time. It was the last day. By noon tomorrow, my bank account would have a lot more zeros. Just to be safe, I arranged to meet Jessica to check on the progress and take care of one last thing. How have the past few days been? Has your dear wife been taking good care of you? Jessica asked playfully, holding a folder. Don't call her that. I'm divorcing her the day after tomorrow. This is all just an act. I rubbed my chin. God, I'm such a monster, taking advantage of a woman with amnesia. Jessica nodded like a pecking chicken. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, shut up. Did you get it done? I lightly tapped her on the head, and she yelped dramatically. Yes, it's done, Jessica said, adjusting her glasses. I've booked your ticket for the day after tomorrow. The asset transfer is proceeding as scheduled. It should all be in your account by noon tomorrow. Good. Now, there's just one last thing. My smile vanished. I grabbed Jessica by the shoulders and pinned her against the car seat. Hey, Chris, what are you doing? Pinned beneath me. Jessica's face turned a visible shade of red. Tell me the truth. What did Ashley offer you? I said coldly, if I find a listening device on you, or any other evidence, our friendship is over. What are you talking about? Why would I help her? After we went out for drinks, Ashley was following us. If you weren't deliberately trying to set me up, why would you have taken me to a hotel? To create the illusion that I was cheating? Normally, a man and a woman in that situation would get 2 rooms. Don't tell me they only had one left. I'm not that stupid. My questions left Jessica stunned, her eyes wide. You, there must be some misunderstanding. Chris, I honestly had no idea she was following you. She looked genuinely hurt. As for the hotel, when she hesitated, I started searching her. Don't touch me. Jessica was no match for my strength. But after searching her thoroughly, all I found was a phone in her purse. Password. If you don't tell me, I won't be so nice. 2-5-8-0. Jessica's eyes darted away, as if she was hiding something. I immediately opened her chat history, looking for any communication with Ashley. What I saw shocked me. Not only had she pinned my contact to the top of her list, but she had also talked about me at length with her best friend. I've been watching him from afar all these years. I can't believe he's still in love with Sophia. Sometimes I feel so resentful. I don't think I'm any less than Sophia, but they were high school sweethearts. I'm just a passerby in his life. Sophia is just awful. Even I can't stand it anymore. Ugh, my heart really hurts for him. Yay. He asked me out for drinks today, and he said he wants to open a design studio with me. Wow. I'm so happy. I can't even describe it. I'm about to run away with him. I've waited 10 years for this moment. I've been secretly watching him since college, but he's always treated me like a little sister. I only want to give my love to him. He's been hurt so badly by Sophia. I hope I can help him heal. You have to cheer me on, Chloe. When we finally get together, you have to be my